Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to week 5 of the Master Keys to Manifesting. This is your video that teaches you how to make things happen. We're going to have fun as we get into the real nitty-gritty of making stuff up, having your dreams come true. What we're going to work on today is actually bringing all of the philosophy and practices that we've done so far into practical application so that things will start to happen. Now, I'm sure you're already having some great experiences. I know that things are happening. You're having those breakthrough aha moments and stuff showing up and people showing up and, feeling like you're being in the right place at the right time, and synchronicity is taking place. So I'm not worried about that, and we've dealt with the previous weeks of showing you the law of attraction principles, which all of this is based on, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, or we've talked about that already, but I'm not going to really go into details. But the law of attraction is at the root of all of this, along with the other 6 essential laws. But tonight I want to talk, we want to get more into the practical work that makes things come together. So the word exchange for this week is we're exchanging the word work for create. Now the word work always brings up this connotation of something that's hard and laborious and stressful and stuff we don't want to do. But create brings up this energy of something that's fun and new and exciting and allows us to do what we're supposed to do, and that is to bring through the energy, the universal energy, the creative energy that lies within us. And I mean, everybody likes to create stuff and make stuff up. So that's what this is all about. It's the actual manifestation process. So from now on, for this week, I want you to practice using the word create whenever you think about work, or I'm working on this, or I got to go to work. I got to go create. I'm creating that. Things like that. Just the energy shift that comes along with that shift of words. Well, you know what it is. We've already been through a lot of it, so it's nothing new. So anyway, let's get on with week 5 and get into what we've been waiting for so long, and that is to really make stuff up. Okay? So you should be experiencing the reduction in the effort it takes to get stuff done. We've dealt a little bit with your self-confidence, and we've dealt with overcoming procrastination, which was probably the greatest mountain to climb. But as long as you're using the tapping, and you remember too, and I don't think I mentioned this before, but if I did, I'm saying it again, you can always go back to any of the videos that you've looked at before and fast forward to the tapping section and do some rounds of that. Like if you find as you're moving through the sequence, or even after you've gotten through it, that you're having some problems with procrastination, because it will come up again. I guarantee you, long as you're working and creating, long as you're creating and doing things in your life, you will have the reoccurrence of procrastination, because it's just fear, as I said, in disguise. So whenever you want to start something new, it's going to show up. All you need to do is go to the procrastination video, fast forward to the tapping sequence, do a few rounds, and let it just melt away. So the other thing I want to mention is, are you still keeping track of everything that's happening in your journal? It's very important that you continue to journal, because this is how you can measure your progress, see patterns, or how you may be repeating patterns that you want to clear, and also to keep you encouraged, because you can see how far you've come from where you started. So let's just do a quick review, just to, like I just did, but let's just touch on things. In session 1, we talked about the law of attraction and gave you some tools to get you started, some principles about how everything works. In session 2, we identified behavior and speaking patterns and began to shift those patterns to something more positive and creative. And we learned how to clear some lack of limitation energy around money and creating in general. In session 3, we worked on your self-confidence, with the premise being, if you can believe, you can achieve. And we know that that's true. So if you believe enough in yourself, you can accomplish your dreams. Even if no one else believes in yourself, the most important thing is what you believe about yourself. And as long as you believe, you can get the job done. And, people come around after they see you being successful. Then it's before it's, you can't do that. You need to be careful. You're going to hurt yourself. And then after you achieve it, it's like, I knew you could do it. You're always so good. So, whatever. It's them. Those are those people, those wonderful spiritual little beings that love us and try to protect us, and whom for the most part are scared to death and clueless. So let them, don't let them get in your way. So, and we talked about procrastination last week, and as I mentioned briefly, it's going to come up again. It'll be around you forever because it's just your inner child trying to protect you. So when it comes up, fast, go to the procrastination video, fast forward to the tapping, bring up those statements, and start tapping on it, and just melt the resistance and the fear away. It doesn't take long, and the more you do it, the easier it gets. You'll find that after a while, once you've done the tapping for a while, you'll be able to just call it up. And remember, there's something in tapping, I don't know if I mentioned this before either, called borrowing benefits. Basically what it means is you can just imagine that you're tapping on your spots, on the energy centers. Just by thinking it and saying the words to yourself or out loud, you can still get the same benefit. So after you've done the sequences a few times and you remember some of the words, or if you make up your own, just tapping on those points, letting go of procrastination, if that's all you say, it will still work. So you can be someplace out where you got to get something done, you're scared, whatever. Self-confidence, I'm feeling confident, I'm feeling good, and just do it. It'll work. That's the great thing about energy. Energy, everything is energy. And wherever you are, there is energy. So now let's get into the actual work of this week, and that's creating. Always creating. Even when we don't think we're creating, we're creating. When we are actively, consciously creating, we're creating what we want. When we are not consciously creating, or we're in resistance or fear, we're creating what we don't want. So we may as well get used to creating what you want, and that way you can at least have some control over the outcomes. Now, when we talk about creating and manifesting, even though we're going to deal with one topic in this video because we couldn't possibly deal with all the things that you want to create in your life, it would take forever, and this is long enough. But so today we're just going to talk about creating the one thing that most of us can use more of, and that's money. But you can use this manifestation philosophy and the techniques for creating love, creating health, better health, happiness, career, better home, success, peace, harmony, relationships, all of that. Creation is just creation, and like I said, energy, everything is energy, so it's just a matter of what your intention is, what you get out as a result. So we're going to focus this time, though, on money, because this whole program is based on helping you use the law of attraction to bring more of what you want in your life, and that right now is money. Now, when I mention that word money, what's the first thing that happened for some of you? Some of you are going to you're cringing. Some of you are going, oh, money, I'm afraid of money. You got all this pre-programming, all this self-talk, all this stuff that your family has taught you, your parents, your ancestors, all these belief systems about money. And the truth of the money is, the truth of the matter is that money is a very essential part of our lives. And the reasons why most of us don't have enough of it is because of our attitudes, what we believe and what we feel. And so that's what we're going to try to clear today, so we can create a healthier mindset around money and clear up some myths about what it is and what it isn't. So let's agree on one thing, and that is, in the world that we live in today, you have to have money. If you don't have money, you are in a world of hurt. And let me tell you, being without money in this world, it's way more difficult than you think. It's not just a matter of being poor and barely making ends meet. Even if you don't have enough, you have some money, you're doing great. But when you're broke and don't have any money, believe me, the world can be a very cold place. And it's like somebody told me the other day, the world doesn't care about your stories, your excuses, or your problems. They just want to know, can you pay your rent? Can you pay your bills? Can you buy food? And beyond that, it's like everything's relative. So, let's just go ahead and start talking about clearing some of these incorrect beliefs, and know for sure that this is something we all need. So that's why I chose to work on this first. We all want love, but actually you can live without love. We want happiness and all that, but you can live without those things. So one thing that you really have a hard time living without is money. And so let's jump in and deal with it realistically. Now, depending on your current belief system, you may experience abundance or scarcity. Or you may have reached a plateau where you have enough money, but you really want more in order to live the life that you want, to have your dreams and desires come true, to help family and friends, to support charities, and to give to those in need. So it's relative to, to where you are, what you will start to experience out of this system. Now, money, as I said before, is required for everything in this world, and without it, life is truly very hard and very painful. I know, take it from me. I've been broke. I've been really broke, and believe me, having money is better, and it's much, much better to develop a healthy attitude about it so you can have it. You don't have to be rich if you don't want to be rich. Nobody's requiring you to have a lot of money, but you got to have enough to provide for yourself and your family, or you're miserable. Everybody's miserable, and there is, and happiness becomes a fleeting possibility. And I know a lot of times you hear, well, they're poor, but they still have happiness. The children are happy because they don't know any better. It's like ignorance is bliss. The parents are not happy, I guarantee you. So in order for us to function in this world and to have the comfort and the security, if nothing else, freedom and security just to live, we need to have enough money to take care of ourselves and to provide for our futures. Because another thing, believe me, you don't want to get old in this world and not have money. If you think it's bad now when you're young and viable and vibrant and be broke, try to get older and be broke. It's the loneliest, coldest, most horrible experience you could ever have, to know that you've worked all your life and given so much, and now when you are older in need, there is nothing and no systems, very, very few systems there for you. So I'm trying to, in my purpose in this video is to help those who are needing to recreate their lives and rebuild security and rebuild finances, to be able to do that no matter what your age is. So let's get busy. Let's start working on creating the abundance and prosperity for a more joyful, abundant life that gives us the freedom to pick and choose what we want to do, where we want to live, what we want to have, and most of all, to give us the freedom and security that we all want from the day we're born until the day we leave the planet. So now let's talk about what money is not. Let's clear the air, get to the nitty-gritty. Money is not the root of all evil. I repeat, money is not the root of all evil. If it was, we'd all be evil and no one would ever do anything good in the world. And money isn't the problem here. It's people with dark intentions. Money without the people is just paper. And I'll repeat that later on. Money does not corrupt people. The people who are corrupt, who are selfish and greedy, were already selfish and greedy. It's just that their wealth gave them more power to be more selfish and more greedy. And this abundance, this accomplishment feeds their already dark intended egos to make them even more of what they are. The thing about money and the accumulation of wealth, it doesn't make you who you are. It brings out who you are and amplifies and multiplies that. So that's why you see such suffering at the hands of those greedy, dark intended people who have money. Okay, because you also know they're the opposite, and I'm going to talk about those in a few minutes. Money does not make you less spiritual, and poverty and scarcity does not make you more spiritual. Abundance is your birthright. God gave us this beautiful planet that all it does is create. It only knows to make more and more and more. As we want more, the planet says, great, I love it. Mother Earth is just making more and more and more. And for them to tell you that this Earth cannot support the beings on this planet, do you really think the universe would create a planet that could not support its beings and inhabitants? It's not the planet, it's the people. It always comes back to us. Wherever there's lack, limitation, shortages, or issues, it's people. The planet will take care of everyone. That's what she does. That's why we call her Mother Nature. Mothers take care of their children, and Mother Earth will take care of us if we don't kill her. But, we're part of the equation there, too. And now let's talk about what money is. Money is simply gratitude, energy, and form. It's a convenient and easy method of exchanging gratitude energy for products and services rendered. If no service or product was ever given, money would not be necessary. Back in the old days, people rewarded each other for products and services rendered with an exchange of another product or service. A carpenter might receive food grown in someone's garden in exchange for building or repairing something. A doctor would receive a service or commodity or product in exchange for medical care. But as the world and its populations grew, we needed a simpler way to reward each other for our services rendered, and the monetary or currency exchange system was born. Now, money is good, because it really is a neutral energy, so it is good and it's necessary for us to give and receive the maximum benefits and services to each other. It's necessary if we're going to take care of each other. Consider these examples. Now, Oprah is the perfect example of what abundance, great abundance, and what can be done with it if you have the right intentions. She wouldn't be able to start schools. She couldn't give away cars and dream vacations and my favorite things. She wouldn't be able to create all the good in the world that she's doing, that she's able to do now, if she didn't have great abundance. This is also true for Warren Buffett and Bill and Melinda Gates and people like them. They have huge charities that benefit people locally and around the world. And these organizations and systems that we all need, trust, and depend on, the Red Cross and other organizations like that, all do it because they have money. You know, if we gave them a bunch of food or a bunch of clothes or whatever, they couldn't do it. But by having this exchange of currency, they can do the various things that they need to do by, creating services and buying things that people need. Money is the crux of what abundance and prosperity is really all about. And the truth is, more people use their wealth to do good in the world than those who use it to do harm. That's the real truth. I don't care what the media tells you. The truth is, there are more people out there anonymously doing good, contributing, taking care of people, doing things. And sometimes they'll tell you, I don't want to be known. Don't tell anybody I did this. They just want to help. They don't want credit. They don't want publicity. They just want to help. But without money, the world we live in, all of its conveniences, products, and services that we love and depend on so much couldn't exist. You couldn't have a cell phone if we didn't have money and currency to exchange for the companies to buy the technologies and the equipment and things from each other that they need to create the simple thing that we enjoy so much, TVs, cell phones, all that. So the bottom line is, money is a neutral energy in form. It has nothing to do, and it is nothing without the people that control it. So when you consider what money is or isn't, remember that without people determining its value and deciding what to do with it, money is nothing more than pieces of paper and chunks of metal. Without the people to give it value and meaning, money is nothing. If we all disappeared from the earth this moment, money would stop. It would never be spent, circulated. It would eventually, the paper would eventually rot away. The metal would still just sit there for eons, being metal in the earth like it always was. And it would be nothing. So, the perfect example of the fact that we give money its meaning is, take foreign currencies. If you go to another country, that country's currency is valuable to them. And you can take your money from your country, but you've got to exchange it for the currency in the other country in order for you to buy the goods and services that you need and want while you're visiting their country. Some countries will exchange or use dollars, but generally it's an unequal balance of using dollars for pesos. Like, for instance, when I used to go to Mexico, to Cancun, the vendors and people there, they didn't mind taking dollars because our dollars were much more valuable than their peso. And it fluctuates so much that they could take $1 and one day it might be worth 7 pesos. Tomorrow it might be worth 5 pesos or 10 pesos, up and down depending on the market. So they didn't mind dollars because our dollar was more stable and valuable than their own currency. And that was true in the Soviet Union when it first collapsed. A lot of the countries there didn't want their own money. They wanted dollars because on the world market the dollar was strong. It had value. But now things are a little different, and so now when you go to certain countries, they want their money. Like when you go to Europe, they want euros. They don't want dollars, basically, or at least it used to be that way. I don't know about now, but it used to be such that the euro was more valuable than the dollar. So when you went to Europe, you had to trade dollars for euros in order to be able to spend them. So the next thing I want to address is our emotional connection to abundance, or the lack thereof. Our emotions determine how and what shows up for us in our lives. That's the law of attraction, that thing we love so much, in action. I don't care whether you like it, believe it, know it, or refuse it or not, it's still in effect along with the other 6 essential laws. There's 7 essential laws and the law of attraction is only one of them, but that's another class. We'll get into that later. The abundance has certain energy frequency, and our emotions have certain energy frequencies. And since everything is energy, if we aren't sending out the right vibrational frequencies through how we feel, through our emotions, we could be repelling our abundance instead of attracting it to us. Yep, you can actually drive your money away. You ever think about it that way? You can. And which is one of the reasons why some of us are experiencing lack, limitation, and scarcity. If you've had a tremendous emotional crisis where you've had depression or despair or whatever it is that drops you into that place that's lower than the vibration of love and above, remember your charts back in the I think it's session 1 where we talked about the vibrational frequencies of the various emotions on up the scale. When you drop below, I think it's number 7, into those lower level vibrations, they tend to repel abundance and good coming to your life because they are negative, dark energies. And, like the magnets, the wrong ends point towards each other. It drives the magnets apart. When the right ends point towards each other, it pulls it to you. And you're nothing more than a magnet. So you got to be drawing instead of repelling. So, the challenge we face, though, is to keep shifting or to shift and maintain our emotional vibrational frequencies so that we attract our abundance or money to us instead of pushing it away, which is what we've been working on. Our tapping exercise for this week is designed to do just that. It's designed to shift our energies and bring what we want to us, to attract that energy to us. Now, understand, this is a perfect system, but we don't have a perfect use of it because we have to bring all of these essential laws into play to make our manifestation power is consistent. But when we get into, and I invite you, I'm going to talk about it more in a minute, I invite you to look into personal coaching with me, because that's when I really have time to go into the 7 essential laws and teach you how they work and kind of help you learn to work them all together. Because when they work together, and they're required to work together, when we are working them together in a harmonious way, they work wonderfully well, which is why you see some people who are having everything work for them. But right now we're going to deal with the most important, because even with the other laws in effect, if we're not working the law of attraction right, then it doesn't matter what else we're doing, because we're actually pushing stuff away from us instead of bringing it in. So anyway, tonight we're going to work on tapping to shift our energy to bring our emotional vibrations into a place of stability at the level of love or above, so that we're attracting. And even if we don't have a conscious awareness of the other essential laws, we can still work it, still get it to work for the most part the way we want. And that's really what we're here to accomplish. This home study course is not to answer all your prosperity and abundance issues. Is to get you going on the right path. And like I said, in a few minutes I'll talk a little bit more about inviting you to work with me after you get through this first 6 sessions and getting your money flowing. I would love to have you work with me, and I invite you to come work with me personally, so then we can address your individual issues and get some more of this stuff lined up and going in the right direction, so then things will really work. But this is just to get you going, to help you get your abundance and prosperity flowing in a way that you are having a sufficient amount of prosperity and abundance in your life. So now, in your email with this week's session, you got a tapping script. You got several things in your homework package. Homework for this week is a little different than it was for the other weeks. It's all about tapping. And I sent you a little packet that has the script we're going to use tonight, which if you want to take time to pause the video and go pull it out, you can do that. And then you can just, read from it, because I'm not going to, the other thing I'm going to do, because this video is a little longer than the others, is I'm not going to repeat everything twice. I'm going to go through the tapping sequence. So if you have it in front of you, you can just follow along and read as I go, and then we'll get through it faster. But in addition to this tapping sequence, I also included another little bonus sequence and some other information about an exercise I want you to do to help start bringing up your money stuff. so you can heal it, clear it, and get it out. Because there's a lot of junk going on with some of us when it comes to money. Some of us have a negative belief system. Some of us feel guilty. Some of us don't like it. Some of us think it makes us, less than spiritual, and some of us think it's downright dirty. So we got to clear all that, because if you're going to have sufficiency, you got to be comfortable with the energy of bringing that into you. So tonight we're just going to go through the general tapping money script, and then we'll talk a little bit later about the homework, okay? So let's get started with the tapping, because that's the most important thing. This is what gets the energy flowing, and what we're going to use to clear. Now, what I did mention, and this is very important for you to know, the other sequences, I would go through, I'd tap on the points, and I would repeat the statements twice, so that you could hear me once and then repeat after me. Well, from now, for this sequence and for the next video, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm only going to tap on it once. State the statement once, and you can read it and follow along, and then we'll go from there, okay? So we're going to start where we always start, with the karate chop. And also, I've changed the sequence a little bit to make it go faster as well. Because you've been used to tapping, you've gotten certain energy centers activated. So now we can go straight to the point, to the power points, and get it done. So let's just start with the karate chop. We're going to tap on your side of your hand, and we're going to start with the statements. So follow along with me, and I'm going to start with the first one now. Even though I have problems with money, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though sometimes money seems hard to come by, I love and accept myself anyway. And even though sometimes I feel depressed about my money and the lack of it, I'm ready to clear this energy right now. Even though sometimes I get discouraged and stressed when I start to pay my bills because there may not be enough money, I'm grateful for all that I do have. And even though I've created patterns of struggle and lack with money, I'm ready and I'm grateful that I am free to receive more. So now let's start tapping. Eyebrow point, releasing all this lack and limitation energy now. Releasing the energy of money doesn't grow on trees. Releasing the belief that money is hard to get. Releasing that money is filthy and dirty. Releasing the belief that money is not spiritual. Releasing that money may even be dangerous. Releasing the belief that I don't deserve money. My parents didn't have a lot of money, and neither will I. Just letting that go now. They worried about money. Sometimes it seemed that money was more important than me. They didn't know that I felt that way. So I'm just going to let that go too. It seems like I will never have enough money. Sometimes I think that rich people are worldly and are not good people. Releasing and letting go of that belief now. There is not enough money for me. Could it be that I'm afraid of wealth? Or that I'm not good enough? I've been taught that poor people are more spiritual. I feel frustrated. Money is not there for me. I never seem to have enough money. Not having enough has caused me nothing but trouble and heartache. Will I ever get out of debt? Doesn't seem like I will. It's so hard. Money is hard to get. Releasing that belief now. Let it go from all my cells. When will it be my turn to have money? How can I have money when my family didn't? Is it a sin to spend money? I'm afraid if I spend it, I won't get any more. I feel sad and sometimes angry. I have to struggle so much. I feel like I'm not worth it. Like I don't deserve it. I have to work hard to get ahead. The only way to have money is to work hard. That's what I've been taught. That's what my parents said. That's what everyone tells me. But I'm releasing all of that generational belief now. Releasing all that poverty consciousness. Releasing it all now. I hate bills because they take all my money. I resent others for having money. And sometimes I think money will corrupt me. Money goes out faster than it comes in. I'm feeling worthless and stuck. I feel poor. Like I'll never get out from under all this debt. My parents never got ahead, and maybe I won't either. I'm afraid of being greedy if I have too much money. They told me that too. So I have to stay poor. I don't like that feeling, so I'll just release it now. Why can't I make money doing what I love? Why do I have to work so hard? Releasing that belief from every cell in the body. I want to earn lots of money doing what I love. I think I can do that. Is it okay if I do that? Could I really make that much money? Am I afraid of wealth? I have some negative language around money, like I can't afford it, like I don't have enough. But I'm releasing all the arguments and conflicts I've created around money. I gave to my family, but they never gave back to me. Makes me think I can't trust my family either. Money is difficult to come by, but I'm releasing that belief, just letting it go. Letting go of the lack, the struggle, the conflict with money. Releasing. Not giving my power away to money anymore. Not giving my power away to money anymore, and letting all that stuff go once and for all. Now just take 3 deep breaths and let it all go. Let all the stress and worry and overwhelm about money go. Feeling the energy flow and letting it all go. Now tonight and in your homework, you'll notice there's a couple of extra steps that I've added. And because this money issue is so significant and so deeply ingrained, we're going to do an additional step called the forgiveness step. And this is allowing your heart to heal emotionally from all of the negative energy that you've experienced about money. So first I want you to take your fist like this, and right in the middle of your chest above your heart is your heart chakra. I want you to rub in a clockwise motion. Now the thing about it is some people's chakras spin in different directions. When you start rubbing, if you rub this way like I'm doing, which is towards my left arm and down and up on my right side and around and down on my left side, if that feels good, then you're doing the right way. If it doesn't, then you rub the other way. It's whichever way feels best and natural for you. So let's start rubbing your heart chakra in a whatever motion feels good for you, and say these words. I forgive myself. I've done the best I know how with money. I forgive money. It has always been there for me, and I claim it now. I forgive my parents. They did the best that they knew how. I forgive my ancestors. They did the best that they knew how. And I forgive myself for not changing this pattern sooner. It is now time, and I'm changing it now. Okay, inhale and exhale. Just letting that sink in for a minute. feeling it. If you're feeling some emotion about it, then we're getting ready to reframe some energy and do a little bit more tapping and set in some positive affirmations. But if that brings up a lot of energy for you, I want you to go back and repeat the first tapping sequence and then do the forgiveness step again, and do that until the tears stop, until the emotion settles, until it gets to a point where you feel comfortable. So now we're going to reframe those emotions we just brought up with a little bit of positive affirmation about abundance of money. Eyebrow point. Thank you, universe, and thank you, Mother Earth. I am creating a new belief and energy with money. I deserve to be successful. I am responsible with money. I am doing all good with my abundant supply. I am a spiritual person because I share my abundance with others. It makes me happy to have enough money to spare and to share. Start with the eyebrow point again and repeat. Thank you, universe. Thank you, Mother Earth. Side of the eye. I'm creating a new belief and energy with money. I deserve to be successful. I am responsible with money. I am doing all good with my abundant supply. I'm a spiritual person because I share my abundance with others. It makes me happy to have enough money to spare and to share. And now we're going to finish with some affirmations. Tap with your two fingers of one hand on your right hand on your left inner wrist, your pulse point, and say, I let this be so. Tap on the other wrist, and so it is. Inhale and exhale. And now say, thank you, universe. Thank you, Mother Earth, for all of this or something better. And just exhale. The reason we added that little statement is because the universe may be wanting to give you something bigger and better than you imagine. So as you'll notice in this sequence and the homework I've given you, and in the next session, we will be always ending with thank you, thank you, God, thank you, Mother Earth, for all of this and something better. This is giving the universe to bless the permission to bless you with something more. Now I want you, as I'm finishing up here, we're about to close, I want you to just sit back. Continue to inhale and exhale, just releasing and relaxing and letting the energy flow through you. I want to remind you to make notes in your journal this week, especially of any emotions that come up, especially if they're really emotional, painful, stuff. We want to journal that. We want to tap on it. And all you have to do when it comes up is start tapping on it. You can even, like if you're saying, I feel guilty, just eyebrow. I feel guilty, I feel guilty. I feel guilty, 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 and then finish up with, I'm releasing all this guilt, I'm releasing all this guilt, I'm releasing all this guilt, and just go through that, and then make it so, and so it is. Thank you, universe. Thank you, Mother Earth, for all of this or something better. That's to, you keep doing that sequence until the energy diminishes, the tears stop, where the emotion gets low enough to where it's not uncomfortable. Because these money issues are going to bring up some stuff for you. And if you're having problems, like I said, let me know. Email me at talkwithlynn@gmail.com. I can send you some comfort tapping, which will help to dispel all this energy and bring peace and comfort into your body. Because this is some serious stuff. Now, I also want to mention and invite you to consider becoming a personal coaching client with me. Because if you're noticing stuff that's coming up during some of these tapping sessions, especially now that we're talking about this real emotional issue of money, it may indicate that we need to get personal with you and go into some real deep detail, which we can do in a personal coaching session. And you can email me, and then we can talk on the phone, and we can do a little free mini coaching session to see what your issues are. And if it's something that we can address right away, we will. If not, then we can arrange a schedule that's convenient for you so we can actually take care of this. And it will really greatly enhance your progress and speed of making things happen, of creating, and to give you that extra advantage to speed you on your way. And just please remember, email me even if, whatever's going on. I want to know how you're doing. I want to hear your breakthroughs, your aha moments. I want to know how this is benefiting you. Also, other people benefit from your experiences. So it's really important that you let me know what's going on. Even if it's just to say, this is great, thank you. I want to hear that. I want to hear from you. So now you're almost there. This is week 5, and next week is week 6, which is the end of the series. And it's called Sustaining Your Success. So all of the stuff we've done in the last 5 weeks, we're going to do some tapping and some working on getting you to a point where you can sustain it, to establish what you need to do to keep this going. Because if you start this and then you back off of it, you're not consistent with your practice, you will notice a diminishing of the energy, and you'll kind of go back to some of your old ways, maybe even of lack and limitation. So next week we're going to establish consistency and give you some tools to help you sustain your success. Also, I want to remind you that even after we go through next session 6, you should go back, start with 1, and go through them again to solidify in your mind and in your body and in your experience exactly what this is all about. You'll find next time, the second phase, time through, will go faster, but you'll also bring up more and be able to experience greater and deeper than you have before. So make sure that you go through the whole series at least once more. And then after you're finished with that, remember, at any time in the future when you feel lack of confidence or stage fright before you have to give a speech or a presentation or do something, or if you're suffering from procrastination and you find that you need to get something done and you're just putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, go to that series, fast forward to the tapping sessions, and go through a couple of sequences. It will break that energy, because you're a work in progress forever. This is not a one-shot deal. This is like, got to do this forever. Consider this your personal energy hygiene, something like exercising. If you want to maintain optimum health and physical fitness, you got to work out. And this is working your energy health and your creative health. So, this is something you need to do. And even if you fall by the wayside a little bit, get back on the horse. Get back into the series. Pull out one of the videos and work it. The consistency is the key. And if you do this consistently, you're going to see miracles happen. Okay? Just like, you can even go back to that original mini coaching and call in your miracle and make this happen, because this is what this is all about. So anyway, so much for this week. I thank you very much for joining me. Remember, get out there and create. This is making stuff up. This is making it happen. This is what this is all about. So I applaud you for getting this far, and I applaud you for getting into next week and making things happen, bringing what you want into your life. Congratulations, and I'll see you next week.